watching the number one podcast in the YouTube wrestling community. I'm one of your hosts. My name is Juan.
And I'm your other host, the one, the only, John Paul Leck.
And together we are...
Road Break.
Good evening, family. I hope that all of you are doing good, ready to go to bed. Some of you that are, the few of you that are working, hope you work is okay. We're one more time here to talk about 20 minutes after the show went off the air, AEW Dynamite. I think that it wasn't a good Dynamite. I think that it was probably just I will say barely good Dynamite, and we're here to talk about it. But before, like always, we want you to know that we're thinking of all of you. We're gonna get through this, and we hope that all of you are staying safe. And please stay the F home. So, Jean-Paul, tell me about Dynamite.
Like you said, it wasn't. I mean, the show to me, maybe it's all the other distractions going on. Who knows what it is, but the show, it just doesn't feel like. They just don't feel that good anymore. And I'm not even going to blame the lack of crowd, because the past couple Dynamites, when they've had the empty arena shows, they were good. They were exciting and they felt legit. I think it was just the booking. The show didn't have really anything that spectacular out of what I always praise them for, the opening match. The opening match half the time is better than the main event. And I think that was the case, especially tonight. We saw some more stuff from Brodie Lee and the Dark Order, which to me is still a letdown. We saw the debut of Lance Archer, also a letdown. And like I said, the main event was kind of just the WWE booking. You took two matches from this upcoming tournament, not the Tiger tournament, but the TNT Championship tournament. So you took two matches from that and combined them into a tag team and was trying to, that was just your booking. Instead of just, I would have had the main event be the debut of, I don't know, Lance Archer in a match, or I don't know, something different. But they did what they did. They're giving us a show. Like I said, it's 2 hours. You can distract yourself. So I won't knock them too hard. But if I am judging them off previous weeks, this wasn't a very good Dynamite in my opinion.
I will agree to that. And like Jean-Paul was saying, the Tigers tournament for the ones, it was just an April's Fool joke. And I feel that at least they're trying to kind of line the mood for people. They're trying to make it forget about what's going on in the world. But like you said, some people is not working out. And yeah, this Dynamite, despite a previous Dynamite we've seen before, I feel that again, Cody Rhodes is not really doing it on commentary, like you mentioned. I think he's not helping the show to be a little bit more watchable. And it's making it.
And I mean, now, and you got to give the props. Now, this we'll come back around to what we're talking about, but you got to give props to somebody like Joey Styles, who can call a show by himself. I'm not saying that somebody like Tony Schiavone can do that, but at this point, I'd almost rather. Now, Colt Cabana wasn't bad, but I'd almost rather have Tony Schiavone just call it by himself until this is all over, or somebody who. Like I said, I don't know, maybe a Christopher Daniels, somebody who's older, who's not going to wrestle, who's more. I don't like when Cody's on commentary for the opening match or two, and then he's like, oh, I have to wrestle. I'm on commentary. I'm in a match. I'm in every storyline. I'm Cody Rhodes. I'm, the creator, the CEO. I'm everything of AEW. It's just do the one thing. Just be the wrestler. Just do the thing that brought you to the dance that they say. So, I don't know. I agree with you. He's not doing it for me on commentary.
Yes. It's not. It wasn't a good Dynamite, but before we start, Jean-Paul, and I want just your quick thoughts on this. There's a lot of reports going that WWE might have to take a few weeks off. Do you think it's the right thing to do? I feel that we all been calling for that, and see despite their efforts to keep going, I think at some point after the WrestleMania and after the week after WrestleMania, I think they're going to be done. So there's going to be 2 or 3 weeks off, they say?
Yeah, if you are going to take a break, there's definite ways that you don't have to just kill the storylines and stop everything, no pun intended, but Stone Cold, just boom, nothing. Cold turkey, I guess, is the phrase I'm looking for. You could do something where, let me just give you an example. Let's say Lesnar retains, but it's a bullshit way. Maybe Paul Heyman, you get hands Lesnar the title and he knocks out McIntyre, some kind of cheating way. And if they're off for 3-4 weeks, you could have Drew McIntyre cut a promo somewhere. And on a Monday Night Raw show, it's like, oh, we're going to show replays, from this match or this or that. But we also have like promos from McIntyre. And it can be them cell phone promos, that they film at their house or wherever, like we've seen The Miz and other people do. You can still kind of continue storylines like that or release videos on, WWE.com or like on their YouTube page. But I would definitely take a break. I mean, like the quality of your shows you're putting on, they're pretty much like shows that you don't even have to watch to begin with. So you might as well just take a break, keep everyone's health. You saw how not everybody's the almighty Bobby Lashley. Not everybody can get corona and then kick its ass. Some people are going to be more like Carmella, and you don't want this thing to spread through your whole locker room, because then you're not going to have to only take 3 weeks off. You're going to have to probably take over, 3 months off.
Yes.
So
yes,
why not just take the 3 weeks off and then just go back to business as usual, hopefully.
Yeah, then that's I agree with you. I feel that like if there's no better time to take a break, hey, some people are injured, some people they're like you need this time to kind of refresh everything, because the whole world needs a whole refresh after this. All the tension, all the uncertainty.
Now, I assume this is everything. This isn't just main roster. This is also NXT.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
the whole thing is just like Florida. The whole state is closed.
Yeah.
So they don't have a place to tape unless they find something else. So there was a report that they're considering the idea. It's not confirmed. It's just they're saying they might just have a 2 or 3 weeks off, just because the governor, he said that like after April 30th everything will be back kind of like to normal, and then they can start taping and everything. So they might be that idea. And like I said, you just mentioned that a few minutes ago, is the best time to do this. Get everybody healthy and then just start fresh up. You got with WrestleMania, don't even have the episode after WrestleMania. Just have like WrestleMania and then kind of like, hey, that's the end of the season, like the Super Bowl. That's the end of your sport, and then hey, 3 weeks after, boom, and everybody's gonna show me, hey, I want wrestling, I miss it, I want to.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but go ahead to back up, like really hype it up. So Jean-Paul, Dynamite opens up with Cody and Tony Schiavone, like you said, Cody and everything, and the dog. It's like the one thing, and I know that like in the time that you've been reviewing Dynamite, you said that, and today I just saw it. Today mostly I saw that. It's like Cody is like, it's my show and my friends. But I'm always the one that opens. It's always like it's me all the time, and then my buddies.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
It should not feel
like
that.
AEW. Yeah, it's like elite friends and family. It's like if your friends are family of the elite, you're good. If you're not, thanks for jobbing out to us.
Yeah, well, like for example, the dog's there. I'm like, okay, all right. Okay, why does he always, he's always like, I have to show you and everybody else that I'm the one in charge. But anyway, so that's the one thing that I didn't really like too much. And they were on commentary running down tonight's card. We're no longer in an empty arena because there's a small room and there's a few AEW like wrestlers, and see, that was cool. We got to see the best friends. They were there. We got to see Britt Baker. We got to see Billy Gunn and his Sonic one more time. So see, that was at least really cool. And now we got Trent, and then he was with Orange Cassidy, like I said, with Chucky Taylor, and he goes against Kenny Omega. Like you just mentioned this, the match was absolutely incredible. Like every time Kenny pulls it off. And see, Trent is a pretty good wrestler too.
Yeah, and to me, Trent is extremely legit. And that's the thing too, even on commentary, like Tony Schiavone kind of keeps it pretty even, and even when he speaks, even if he is talking about somebody. Now I know towards the end, in the last match, he was kind of sucking Cody, him a little bit, like, oh, he's so good, this and that, blah blah blah. Like he was favoring the faces more than the heels. But at least when he says it and he speaks, he doesn't sound like he's being biased. He's just talking. They're like, I don't know if it's Cody's tone of voice or what it is, but he's just like, oh, like sometimes when he talks about like Trent or like the heels and stuff, it sounds like he's being sarcastic. And it's like, I don't know how to feel him. That's what I mean. He's not good on commentary, just the way he speaks. He's nowhere near as good as his dad on commentary. So, sorry for all the Cody marks out there. But like this match was legit. I think Trent could have been, a guy who you put in the TNT tournament.
Yeah.
This could have been a match, but then I would have had Trent win, because what does Kenny need to be in a tournament for in the mid card? He should be in the main event. But, I hope the matches for the tournament are as good as this, because this was a great match and it was literally for nothing.
Yeah, it was
And
for nothing.
that's the thing. Like, Trent has been in a lot of these matches. He went against Pentagon. Well, I know he went against Phoenix in a singles match a while ago, and he's been in a lot of great singles matches, but they've all been for nothing. And I'm like, why? This is the thing. It's like, now you have this mid-card title, this tournament, and he's not even in it. I know he's a tag team guy, but look at Kenny and Hangman. They're singles guys, and they're the tag team champs. So, you know what I mean? Like, this could have been a great match. Instead, it was a great match, but it was for nothing, unfortunately.
And of course he loses, but you said like, and see, like Trent like went to Pentagon. We went with Red Phoenix. He's been going with Pac. He's been going to like main event players, and now Kenny. So in every single match, he's been able to pull out like a decent, not even decent, like a great match. There have been instances that like he's been able to win.
Yeah, he went over 50. Yeah, he went over 15 minutes tonight with Kenny Omega.
So exactly like that. If that's not loving, if it does not showing the AEW like creative, is not showing Tony Khan, is not showing Cody, and not showing Dean Malenko, is not showing, hey guys, I can have a singles run. Hey, you don't need to like have me all the time with Chucky Taylor and Orange just for me to just tell you that I'm a good wrestler.
Yeah.
So it was yeah, but like the one thing is also like I would have wished maybe like Trent will win, and then see like they can start maybe like a feud for the tag titles. It's like, hey, they can say I beat you. So hey,
I guess right now is because like they're giving us these matches that are kind of for nothing. Is because I guess they're still supposed to have their street fight with Death Triangle once things go back to normal. So they're really not like, trying to get the best friends in too much stuff. But I don't know. Like I said, you could have did something different then, something with it. And also in this tournament, to break down the bracket, when they did reveal the second half.
Yes.
And we saw it's Lance Archer versus Colt Cabana. Yes. And it's Kip Sabian going against Dustin Rhodes.
Yes, Kip Sabian against
and to me, I don't know why you don't flip that, because I don't know why you wouldn't want to do Colt Cabana versus Kip Sabian, because they have a little bit of feud there, a little bit of heat from a couple weeks ago. I don't know why they're in different brackets, because that would make sense, but it's like, that they'll meet in the next round, but you're not. What, is Lance Archer going to lose to Colt Cabana? No. This tournament is all set up for Cody versus Lance Archer in the finals.
See,
if you don't smell that now, then you must have your nose clogged from allergies. Because as soon as I saw these brackets, I was hoping Lance Archer wouldn't be in it, because I saw Cody was in it. I'm like, okay, here we go. Of course, he can't win the main title, so he has to interject himself into the tournament to win the mid card. And then when I saw Lance Archer, I'm like, well, there goes the final. So Allen, you're out. Guevara out. Sean Spears out. All these guys are out. It's Lance Archer and Cody.
And see, that's the thing that like it kind of sucks, because like we always been saying like this kind of title should be for people that are mid-card. Like you said, like Kip Sabian, like it should be, even if you want to like throw Penta in there, throw Ray Phoenix, throw like Joey Janela, throw the guys that like we don't see on a regular basis. Like, okay, Sean Spears, yeah, but you put him with Cody. Like right away.
So done. Yep.
Like done. So like why would you do that? And then like you said, Lance Archer going against Colt Cabana is going to be done. And then, of course, like Dustin is going to go over like Kip. And then, of course, they're going to do this. You already booked it for me. Lance Archer is going to go with Dustin. He's going to say, I beat your brother. So the next one is you. And that's going to be the final. And probably Lance Archer is going to be the champion. I don't see Cody, just because everybody's going to point out, it's like, you're the owner, whatever.
Oh,
like,
yeah. I agree. Like, that's how they're going to do the thing. And then their feud's probably really going to take off. Well, they're probably going to brutalize Dustin again, beat him down, bloody him up. Hopefully we see I'm just waiting for Jake to hit a DDT on somebody. That's all I want to see. When he hits a DDT, then I'll be like, this was a legit episode of Dynamite. But that's all I want to see. And then that'll probably kickstart the feud, because Cody will be like, you hurt my brother, my family, blah, blah, blah. So then he'll get pissed, and that'll kickstart the feud. But I could see Lance Archer winning it. But then I could see him dropping it to Cody within a month or two.
Yeah, and also like where's MJF? At least a promo from him. Things that like they make us remember that these guys are still there. But I understand we cannot see them because of this whole situation. But at least give me Wardlow should be there, don't you think?
Mm-hmm.
Wardlow like he's Luchasaurus, Jungle Boy. A lot of people were saying, what about those guys?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I give them like these guys that like they don't have a regular time or they're not main event. Give them a chance right there.
Mm-hmm.
And I would have completely taken out. I would have taken out Lance Archer. I would have taken out Dustin. I would have taken out Cody, and I would have put in like three guys right there. For example, Penta was a TNA champion. You know, you're watching TNA. You're gonna get to the point
Yeah.
that like he becomes their world heavyweight champion because see, like the Lucha Bros, whatever. Like there are three guys that are pretty much on their own. They're good. They don't need to be attacked forever. So let's talk about like the last sequences, like we always do. So we're back from commercial break, and they're exchanging chops in the middle of the ring. Trent hits a Snapdragon suplex, really, really legit, almost like Omega Perfect. But then Kenny comes with like the beat trigger. Then Trent counters Omega with a pile driver for a near fall. At least they use the pile driver. WWE they don't. They're not allowed to do the pile driver. Trent looks for the tornado DDT again, but there's Omega counters, and then he hits his own Snapdragon suplex. Kenny is the master at doing that. Trent elbows his way out of the hole, and then he flips Kenny inside out for a lariat. Then Kenny counters Trent and he hits a power bomb and then a beat trigger again. Then both men roll to the apron and exchange chops. And Kenny tosses Trent inside and then they to the top rope. Then Trent jump behind Omega and then he hits a snap German suplex for the top rope and Kenny landed really hard. And then like there was a confusion. Remember, like it seems like Trent was like done, and then like the medical staff are checking on him, and then they were like like Audrey might just have to pull the sign, but then Trent came back and then he hit Daniel Bryan style the running knee for a near fall, and then Omega hits the beat trigger, one win angel, done.
Yeah, like I mean, like we said, it was a legit match. It was a hard fought match, and in this match, I feel like the story it was like both these guys, in the beginning they shook the hands. It was like okay, let's have legit matches and that. Then towards the end, they were getting really like brutal because neither guy could put the other one away. So there was like the stomping on the hands, and I know Kenny, I think, picked up Trent and he almost like power bombed him into a metal pole on the outside. So lots of really hard, hitting stuff going on. That's how I said it was a super legit match. But in 2 weeks, we're gonna forget it even happened because it had no meaning. And that's
Yeah,
what I mean. That it's a shame. This was a 4-star match, in my opinion, easy. 15. They went over 15 minutes.
yeah.
All the everything that happened for television. This was a great match. But like I said, it'll all be forgotten. So.
It will be like in a countdown. Those matches that were on TV, they were legit, but like they didn't mean anything. That will be the countdown. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
pretty. That's a great observation right there, Mr. Leek. So we get a recap of Mark Hardy confronted Chris Jericho on last week's AEW Dynamite. We talk about that. A lot of backlash from a lot of people and a lot of praise. But then we got to something really cool because I think Hikaru Shida is a pretty great wrestler. I will say she's really good, and also like she happens to be the number one contender, and she
Yeah,
goes
I would
against.
say she is the most like legit and in the way that we use legit. Maybe not the actual Webster definition of legit, but we both feel she's the most legit woman on the AEW roster. You got like
Absolutely.
Nyla Rose, and it's like, yeah, she's really not that good in the ring. Riho as the other champ, you know, what do we have to say about Riho? We haven't said already. And all the other women, they're either like gonna get there to be good, or they're not gonna be good at all. And it's just unfortunate. But like Hikaru Shida is the one who's extremely legit. I would say her and Chris Statlander are probably the two most legit ones they have on that roster. So hopefully
Yes.
Shida gets her hands on that title sooner than later. But like you said, she had a legit match here tonight.
And also, like, see, like, I think Hikaru Shida could possibly develop some kind of character, a little bit of charisma. I can see people getting behind her and everything. So that, like you said, that goes along to the what we just mentioned before that she could be potentially she's the best woman in the
Mm-hmm.
roster right now. So she goes to for a wrestler that is not like familiar to AEW. AEW is Anna Jay. But like she did a really good job, I think she was also like good, and she had a lot of offense though. I don't know how you felt about that because like
Yeah, I
she
mean,
had a lot of
I think they give her a lot of offense because when they do matches like these, they're usually like tryouts. So
yes,
they're gonna want to see what you do. Like anybody can stand in the ring and get their ass kicked, but it's like, oh, how good can you throw a punch? You know, can you hit a suplex? Like, what kind of stuff can you do? How are you, like, you know, if you do any, like, leaping from the turnbuckle, this and that. So they were probably like, oh, okay, you know, have a decent, legit match. Obviously, Hikaru Shida is going to look strong here. She's going to pick up the win, but they wanted to see what she could do as well. So that's why I think she got a little offense in. Now, in a match we talk about later, I don't think a person should have got any offense in, but we'll save that for later.
Well, we'll get there, yes, but like you're right. So she did a pretty good job though, and it turns out to be a fun match. I really enjoyed the match. So like usual, we're gonna go to the sequence, and then Hikaru Shida lets her hair down. So that's the last, like the end, and that was really cool when she let the hair down, and she's like, okay, it's time to go, and then drops Anna with a right hand, and then Jay counters the suplex and kicks Shida a few times, and then she hits like Shida with a running neck breaker. Then Shida ducks, and then Jay, but she gets a roll up for a 2 count. Then she goes for a backslide, and then for a schoolgirl from Jay. But then Shida gets in her head, and then the triangle choke. Like, so it was like, I'm like, okay, she's gonna tap. I thought that. I'm like, okay, it's done. But then Anna gets to the ropes to force the rope break. So see, no pun intended. And see, like, that's the thing that is, like, I think Tony Schiavone mentioned on commentary. He's like, oh yeah, like she's been like, she was trained by somebody, like somebody that was good, and it's like, oh, she knows the ropes and everything. Cody was giving her a lot of praise too. So then she goes for a suplex from Hikaru Shida for a 2 count, but then Hikaru hits like her finisher, like the Falcon Arrow, and then she gets the 3 count. So I will say like it was pretty cool to see like her in action, and like you said, I feel that like she has all the potential, everything's lined up for her to be the main star. And also Britt Baker was right there, and you can see a potential interaction between the two of them. So I see that maybe if she becomes the champion, that will be the rivalry.
Yeah, I could definitely see that being her first feud. Hopefully, you know, it's her first feud, and that means she has more to follow. Because I don't think Britt Baker, especially as a heel, should be the champion. Because to me, she's not getting over as a heel. I feel like they tried to put her with Tony to try to get her over. You know how she was interacting with Schiavone every week, because nobody's going to boo Schiavone because a lot of the AEW fans are marks, especially now they're probably like, oh, WCW is so much better than WWE, and it's like, okay, you know, calm down. No, it wasn't. So they're, you know, Tony Schiavone, WCW guy, so they're going to love him. But I don't even think the inclusion of him is getting her over, because like you and I both feel she's not good. Like,
no,
anytime she opens her mouth, it's like, I want to change the channel. Like, and even
it
in
is
the
crazy.
ring, she's not even that good. So I think Hikaru Shida is better than her in the ring. So I would definitely say Shida is next, should be your next women's champion.
Oh yeah, I really hope that. And like yesterday I was watching Impact, and I saw Kaylee Ray or Kay
Mm-hmm.
Ray, or like, yeah, like
Yeah.
and she was an Impact. She just debuted. I like her even more than I will do Britt Baker,
Yeah.
just because she's a little better.
And she was with AEW, and I don't want to say something that's incorrect, but she left. I don't know if it was health reasons or what it was, but then I heard it was drug issues. So I don't know, but I mean, I'm glad that she's in wrestling, because people thought that she was like done with wrestling,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah,
So
but
that's
she's
good that
back.
she's an Impact. So
And I know we love Chris Benoit, and that's the finisher that she uses. She uses the crossface.
oh,
So
okay, that's
yeah,
legit.
so that's legit. So there you go. So now, Mr. Leek, we get a long video package because we get a replay from the Inner Circle power bombing Gian Moxley, and then we go to a, like I said, really long, like I would say almost 10 minutes package from John Moxley and Jake Hager attacking each other, and then they're talking. Both of them are talking, and then we get to see Jake Hager finally talk. So that's a different. That was something
Mm-hmm.
different. And like he's saying, like Chris Jericho is also talking about how tough Moxley is, but then he doesn't stand a chance against the real deal, Jake Hager. So then we go, and like you pretty much the whole package was like, I'm Jake Hager. I'm an MMA. I'm 2-0. I'm undefeated. He doesn't stand a chance with me. I can beat him whenever I want. And then Moxley's like, well, I've been in the ring with him before, and I can find it. I need to find something. I'll find a way. It's like I'm going to be David, and I need to find my way to beat Goliath and all of that. And then we get to hear Sammy Guevara. He's like, oh well, like he's 2-0. There's no way. And it will be really cool that like he can become the AEW champion, because the Inner Circle will have the AEW championship one more time. So did you enjoy the video package? Did you?
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it, but like I said, I felt like Jake Hager was reading off like, you know, a cue card or something. like just the way his eyes were like so wide open, and you could clearly, like he was clearly like trying to read something. And I would rather have it that he didn't talk. I'd rather have it that he just like sat down there, and then you could have had it where it's like silent and nothing was being said, and then you just like we watched Dark Side of the Ring. You hear the person when they ask the questions, you just see the subtitles. They could just be like, "So, what do you think of John Moxley?" Or like, "So," and then he could just stand up and just like maybe throw a chair against the wall and like flip a table, like show off his strength and how crazy and brutal he is, and then just walk away.
Yeah,
I would have rather had him not talk. Like, I mean, he's not a bad talker. It's not like when he opens his mouth, he sounds like Mickey Mouse, and it's like, oh God, like, you know what I mean? So it's not like it was anything like that. But yeah, exactly. It wasn't like oh, they say, hey, Ducky.
Yeah. Oh, but I love Taki though.
Yeah, but it wasn't anything like that. But it was like, I don't know. I would have rather just had him been the silent type, not talk. But I mean, it's cool. I'm happy that we're going to actually see this match. Now, obviously, we know John Moxley's not going to lose, but it should still be a legit match.
But see that, but then also to me, I like you're like lowering Hager's stakes though, because he's gonna lose and then he's not gonna be special anymore. Because to me, the thing that makes it special is the fact that he's undefeated. And also, like, I would much rather do what you said, like Dark Side of the Ring, for example. Like, you hear the interviewer going, "Does John Moxley stand a chance with you?" And you just see him.
Yeah, exactly. That I feel like that would have been more intimidating, but they went with what they went with. So I don't know. Like, maybe they do an interference thing. Maybe Guevara, Santana, Ortiz, Jericho. Maybe somebody gets involved because this thing is in 2 weeks. I think it is that they're having their match. Yes. So maybe they hope, in 2 weeks, that maybe they can have the Inner Circle beat down Moxley. Then the Elite can run out, and it kind of can be maybe setting up something for Blood and Guts. Maybe Matt Hardy shows up. Maybe they do like a whole WWE where they empty the locker room and say screw social distancing, and everybody's out there beating the hell out of each other. Who knows what they're gonna do? But I mean, I agree with you with that. It's the same thing with Wardlow. All these like big guys, Jeff Cobb, who they brought in, who was only, I guess, 2-time appearance, but you bring in these guys who are supposed to be these monsters, and then what? They lose, and then it's like, oh, okay, you're done. Your mystique's over.
And that's what I mean. Like, yeah. I don't know what they're gonna do with that. They have I don't know if they go that route. I don't know why you will do that, but we'll see how they fix that, how they arrange that. So we have Boom Boom called Cabana, and he joins Tony Giovanni on commentary, and then Cabana said that he will be in the AEW TNT Championship tournament. John Paul already broke the brackets for you. Like, we already said our things about it. I mean, to see a new title at least is refreshing. Yeah. I gotta give him that. But now it's time to shoot. So I gotta move the hat. I gotta make it ready. All right, I gotta become New Jack. No, I'm not doing that. It's time for Lance Archer, John Paul.
Yeah, I was gonna say
not Lars, not Lars.
When you
Lance.
When you were putting your hat on, you almost look like the guy who should have gotten 0 offense in.
Yes. So Lance, not Lars. He starts to he's talking about he's like kind of like a small promo, and then we see the snake robbers. He says hell is about to break loose. He says Archer is about to destroy whoever AEW has put in front of him, and Robert says AEW is playing games and they're not the real deal. Well, they are the real deal. He asks Cody to stop playing games, but he understands he might be smart enough to be afraid. Then Cody's boss is telling him not to, or Brandy. So we get Lance Archer and see the one thing, and that's where it all goes down for me. Why would you put Marco Stunt in there? Why would you put Marco Stunt?
Yeah, so, I don't know. I don't know why you can't. And even commentators, they're like, "Oh, Marco Stunt's 4-4 in 2020. Like, oh, that's pretty good." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's probably his overall record." And
that's his height.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a good one. But
and you're hearing that from a short guy.
Yeah. So. It's probably his overall record, and it's like, yeah, we're in tag teams. What's his singles thing? Probably 0 and whatever. And it's like, dude, I don't know why you want to put Marco Stunt out there in this match. And it's like, okay, yeah, if you put him out there, it should have been Marco tried to punch him. Lance Archer should have no-sold it. Marco should have hit the ropes, flew into Archer. Archer catches him, finisher, and done. It should have been a 3-second match. Instead, we got what we got with Marco getting some offense in, And as soon as Marco got a little bit of offense in, I was like, really? Like, it took me completely out of this match. I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, AEW doesn't know how to debut people at all. They need to have people be on their roster, start out like white hot, and then go to bullshit, and then dig their way out of the bullshit, and then they'll be like, oh, okay, now you're good. Now you're good.
If we
Like,
complain, if we complain about the Fiend dropping the title to Goldberg, this is as bad. This is as bad.
I would argue with you there. It's not as bad because obviously he still won. He still looks strong. But I'm like, and obviously you're not going to go get local enhancement talents who you don't know who the hell they are. You got to work with who you have. But I don't know why he couldn't have just it. Didn't matter the fact that it was Marco's stun. The thing that mattered was the fact that this match, in my opinion, wasn't 3 seconds and done.
It went too long and he got offense. And see, that's the thing. He should have never got offense. He should have never, like you said, chokeslam and done. Or like even like a punch. Because it's like you always say to me, and that should be the psychology of wrestling. This dude is like 6 foot something. Almost like 7 foot. 4'4". He's like, this guy punches me. Even if he, just blows, I'll be done.
Yeah.
Okay? I don't have a chance. I don't stand a chance. And I know that. So why don't just tell me the story in that manner? No one is like Rey Mysterio. No one is enough like to even remember how they used to book Rey. He will be like a complete squash. Why can't they do the same thing? At least that's for me.
Yeah. I'd like, again, I mean, you can take us through it. I'll just be repeating myself. But like I said, they fumbled it here. They dropped the ball. They recovered, but they fumbled and it didn't look good.
It didn't look good. That's the best way to say it. So like, see, we started with like stun, actually going with some offense. He's flying. Archer sends stun flying across the ring. Archer hits a massive like a sidewalk slam. Sidewalk slam. Then stun avoids Archer and then gets out of the ring. Then avoids him again and hits a suicide dive. See, that's when everything started going wrong. Then Stuns gets back in the ring and then hits Archer with a drop kick and encounters a chokeslam. Why are you countering? Okay, but then Lance hits a Pons and then sends him back out of the ring. Then Archer gets a stun back in the ring and he hits a big one-handed chokeslam, but then he stops before he pins him, and then he lives stun, and then he does the blackout, which reminds the Razor's Edge, but a little bit like variation, but legit. I really like the finisher. I will say that. It was pretty good. I really enjoyed that.
And then, like, I mean, it wasn't a lot of offense he got in, but it's like there should have been zero. That's all we're saying. It's not like you put him out there. If it was like Luchasaurus or even Jungle Boy, then it's like, okay, I expect Jungle Boy to get a Hurricane Rana in because you're not Jungle Boy's your future. I mean, Lance Archer is as well, but you're not going to make Jungle Boy look like a loser. But like you said, really, it's like Marco's stunt. That's like sending like a 10-year-old kid out there. Like, what do you expect?
It's like sending me. No, it's not going to happen. I'm not going to get any offense. That's how it is. Didn't you learn something from Mass Transit?
Yeah.
No, you're not supposed to say that. It's like the big dude is supposed to kick your ass. That's all I got to say on that. And then Archer, of course, like to kind of like fix it to fix the whole thing. He lives up the ramp and then comes back down, and then he gets Marco Stan on the apron. Then Billy Gunn, his son, and Orange Cassidy try to get him to stop from the barricade, so Archer lives stun and then tosses him onto them. So he did like a choke slam and under like they always the spot that they gotta do. And now, like you said, like the one thing that we just is not even a complaint, it's just a criticism. I will say, why did he get offense? That's all. So we, like you said, they need to start like thinking through these little things a little better. Because, for example, now we're going to talk about somebody that has been already there for 3 weeks and it doesn't feel special anymore. And this is Mr. Brodie Lee. We see a big vignette of him once again, the Exalted One of the Dark Order, and he's in a conference room with a Fozzy TV behind him, and then some men in masks at a table. And then Lee says that like we live in uncertain times, but he's here for us. He gets mad at one of the masked men and smashes a glass of the wall. Yeah, see? That's what I mean. Done. He sits by another and asks him why he yawned. Like, tell me that you just did not yawn. And then he says, that is only a sign of weakness. So don't you ever do that in front of me again. So, another Vince McMahon, like, is pretty much another Vince McMahon parody. It's like, I guess,
Yeah,
again, like I will told you, can pretty much like putting like some salt on the wound. It's like you're still bitter that you couldn't do anything in WWE. So now you fill me in, Mr. Leg.
yeah. I mean, I feel the same way. I don't know why. Like I said, okay, this is the Exalted one. You're looking at the Dark Order. They're all creepy. Like their logo thing, it was almost looked like Hydra, from the Marvel movies and stuff. Like it was supposed to be this really like creepy, evil, like you could even say magical, group. They were like a dark occult. And he's coming in here like a cocky businessman, like Vince McMahon with a freaking man bun. And it's like, okay, this is a complete 180 change in the attitude. Yeah, he still comes out wearing the robe and all that stuff, and he still looks cool. But then we see these vignettes of him eating a steak and like yelling at this guy for yawning, and it's all these like shots and jabs at Vince McMahon. But see, the thing is, you're not getting the 3 million rating. Vince McMahon is. Like, I'm not saying his shows of Monday Night Raw and SmackDown are better, but they're still doing better numbers. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like, what's being bitter gonna do? Like, okay, yeah, you couldn't cut it there. It wasn't your fault. We all know that Brodie Lee is legit, and that it wasn't his fault that he didn't get over, because he was getting over, and then management just shut it down. But then go to AEW and then get over. Don't be like you said. Don't be bitter and be like, "Oh, I gotta poke fun at Vince McMahon." No, go out there and be the exalted one and be legit.
Yes, exactly. Because if you think about it, Jean Paul, 3 weeks he's been there, right? 3 weeks he's been poking the wound. 3 weeks ever since he came out. Oh, remember? Oh, like this old man like didn't care for me or something like that. He said when he came
Mm-hmm.
out. Yeah, you're
Yeah, to
not
me, yeah,
like
I was fine with that, and then that it should have been left at that. It should have
it should
been
have been
that
left
one
at
line
exact
and done.
and that
And then they had to do the thing with the steak and all that other like really
the
cringy
sneezing and
long
all of that.
drawn out scene. Yup, the sneezing, and then like this one with the yawning. It was all. It's all like, okay, what are you gonna do next week now?
Yeah, like you're gonna like just go, you're fired.
Yeah,
Like when you like and see like the one thing just to
yeah.
finish this Jean
No,
Paul.
no, no chance in hell. Like, what are you gonna do? Like,
It,
you
like
know what I
no
mean?
chance. Yeah, and then like the one thing is like you know that by doing that you're still promoting the other guy. So
Hmm.
the best thing for you to do is completely forget about him.
What did we say? So we said the same thing about Cody when Cody's like, "Oh, we have a bike railings with covers over them. We don't use those foam barricades like other companies." As soon as you say other companies, people are gonna think WWE. Oh yeah, NXT's on tonight. I think they have the North American Championship match. Click, and then
Thank
they're
you.
watching NXT. You know what I mean?
Remember,
Done.
remember what happened with like this guy that like was calling the whole show, Mr. Giovanni. What did he say that time? Oh yeah, for the ones that like watch WWE, Mick Foley won the WWF Championship. What did everybody do? Change it to WWE. Don't
Click.
give any promotion. That's what you gotta act.
Yep.
It's like act like the other company doesn't exist, and that one I give to WWE. Like you said, a small shot is fine. Like yeah, one comment, okay, but not every single week because it shows you that you're still bitter.
Mm.
And like you said, in 3 weeks the guy's not special anymore. It also, if you use the word exalted, like it should be like the chosen one, like a Charles Manson. Should be like that type of guy. He's a psycho that is just like driven by like anger. Like he wants vanquish. He wants to just take care of the like conquer the whole world. That should be your motive.
Yeah, like
Not,
the exalted one, he should be like he should be always wearing his robe, not maybe like a crown, not like a bullshit like Burger King, Jerry Lawler, Baron Corbin crown, but wearing
yeah.
some kind of like head. They're just looking like he should look like an exalted one, and
Yes.
he should always be carried to the ring, something like that, and then. Instead of being like, oh, I'm in a business suit, I'm just like a normal guy, and it's like, okay,
It's like it should be like a little bit like and we're not using a here religion or anything, but like kind of like a Jesus, like like that kind of
yeah,
holiness and like, hey,
yeah,
he's better than us, or like he's like the one we were waiting for, not
mm-hmm,
this guy that like gets annoyed by yawning.
yeah.
To me, the Dark Order, every the Dark Order resembles me, and I'm going to stop there, example. It resembles me of Bray Wyatt. Every
Oh
time
yeah.
that you get like 2 steps up, like whatever happens, done.
Hmm.
You just do it like you're just playing
Yep.
Mario, and then
Yep.
boom, all the
Yep.
way
Well,
down.
that's happened twice already in AEW's short career. Dark Order starts out legit, and then they get knocked down to bullshit. They climb their way back out. Oh, the Exalted One's coming. They drag that out for how long? Fans are like, so he finally shows up. Okay, they're out of the bullshit. Immediately knocked back down.
And that's
So
what I
it's
mean.
like,
Like so, and also like so, we're gonna go to a match that it was like two members of the Dark Order, like
mm,
these two guys that probably were having like this meeting with the Consulted One, and against the Natural Nightmares, the QT Marshall, and then Dustin Rhodes, of course, with Brandy Rhodes, because now she's her manager, and really good match. I mean, QT is legit. I will say as a wrestler, he's legit, but like you said, he's trained to job. But
yeah,
like QT is legit. He's good. He's good. And then well, Dustin, he can still go. We've said
yeah.
this
Like I
many
did.
times.
I always say with Dustin, he doesn't try to do anything that he can't do. He knows everything that he can do legit, and that's what he sticks to. I'm gonna do the drop down slap. I'm gonna do the power slam. I'm gonna do this. He can bust out a Canadian destroyer every now and again. He does the senton off the apron. Like he knows what he can do, and he does it, and it looks legit. So
Exactly. Like Dustin knows that. I wish that he will do a Shattered Dreams, but that's only
yeah.
me. But and the numbers of these guys are like 8 and 9. So we're playing Dragon Ball here because it's like
Hmm.
Android 17, 18,
Yep.
and we're not gonna go with 19 because of obvious reasons. But we're gonna go right away. QT Marshall, then he does a snap. Oh, actually, it's Dustin. Dustin does a snap power slam to 9, who rolls from the ring, and then he suckers 8 over the ropes to the floor. Then Dustin hits a rolling senton to 9 on the floor, and Marshall hits a tope also. I think I'm calling like Dragon Ball here. So they get back to 9, and they get 9 in back in the ring for a double team finisher, and they get the win. So like I said, QT, I can just see a lot. See, put Marshall in the freaking TNA Championship. He's legit.
TNT. I mean, yeah, TNA. Yeah, put him on Impact.
TNT,
Put
TNT.
him on
I'm just
Impact.
yeah. Well, also like put him in the TNT Championship.
Yeah.
Put him in the TNT. Like Marshall. Like every time that like he's had a match, don't you agree? He's had like really good moves. He loses just because he's put to people that they
Yeah.
have to win over whoever. Why not, just push this kind of guys? But
Yeah.
anyway, Jean Paul, after that post match, the Exalted One, Brodie Lee, he makes his entrance, and like Jean Paul said, he has the pretty like the different suit. He's not wearing like a suit, so to say. And he comes face to face with Dustin Rhodes on the ramp, and then he walks on down to the ring, and then Lee hits 9 with a big power bomb, and then he stares at the other members and leaves. So pretty much it's like, hey, like if you lose, I mean, you're gonna get your ass kicked. So that's all. That's everything that was. So now, Jean Paul, we get to like for a lot of people like the best segment of the night. I wasn't too thrilled about it because I know it's Le Champion and I love him, but hey, we're allowed to like not love sometimes things that they do. We still love, but hey, we're not supposed to love every single thing that they do because that makes us a mark. Like you always like, I love that word. So Jericho is in his hot tub drinking some of the bubbly, and then he says today is a holiday like Martin Luther King's Day, April's Fool, and he's never met any bigger fools than the Elite. He rags on all of them, and as he's talking, we get to see Bangar one and come from behind, and then Jericho gets out of his hot tub, and then he's talking to the drone. He says that he's glad Bangar is there because he owes him an apology, but then he can utter the word sorry. He wants to make it clear that he wants Bangar to join the inner circle, so he grabs one like a tiny shirt, and it says inner circle. He's like, hey, I have this for you, and he clips it on the Bargan gun, and then he asks him to shake it on, but Bangar flies off, and then Jericho tosses a little bit of the bubbly onto the thing, and he's like, oh, he's like, hey, come on, he's like, come back, and he's like,
Yeah,
oh,
and he's like Simpsons. He's like Smithers release the hounds,
yeah,
and then like his dogs and shit run out. I mean, I agree. Like to me, the only thing I kind of didn't like about it, and it's in the same boat with a lot of people who aren't happy with Matt Hardy and everything we've seen so far, is they're like overdoing it. They're like a kid who his parents aren't home and he just found like the cookie jar. Instead of just eating one cookie and being like, okay, that's legit. I'll save the rest of the cookies for later. He eats all the cookies at once, and it's like, okay, now we're sick of it. Now we have a stomach ache. Like we saw Vanguard, we saw Matt Hardy teleporting, we saw all that crap. Okay, you like to use a crude term here, you blew your whole load. Everything's done. Let it recover. Instead of next week, what do we see? We see Vanguard again. What are we going to see Vanguard every single week now? Like,
Yes.
it's not like you're not going to pop for it. If
Yes.
anything, I enjoyed when he was, cutting them all up. Like he said, Kenny Omega's like a pumpkin-headed piece of shit or whatever he called him. Like, to me, that was funny. Everything when he was cutting them up was funny. But he should have mentioned all of them. And then as soon as he's about to get to Matt Hardy, you should have just heard, like, in the distance, like Matt Hardy's laugh, like,
Yes.
just, and
Yeah.
then he should have been like looking around, and then he should be like, yeah, whatever, Matt Hardy, he's a blah blah blah, and then went into that instead of like the whole thing with like Vanguard, and it's like, oh yeah, I tried to recruit you last week, well, I'm so, because they did that before when he had to apologize to someone. I forget if it was Moxley.
And then Hager had to finish sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree. And then, like, to me, it's like kind of like go back to Dragon Ball just because we're in a Dragon Ball mood. Like, it's like you show all your moves, and then that like always in anime and everything they say that you're not you if you do the same move again it won't work because you already seen it. It's the same thing. It's the same concept. It's like you're just like you said you're blowing all this stuff from Matt Hardy, and a lot of people are not happy with it. A lot of people. Cornette completely destroyed, completely destroyed. He says like I figured like that he'll do something different. No, a lot of people are really, really, I want to say disappointed by it, upset. They don't know what they're going to do with it.
Yeah, and see that's the thing too. I guess a lot of people were hoping for something not completely different, but they're like, okay, what does Matt Hardy have planned new for the Broken universe? Because they wanted to see still Broken, but they wanted to see something new. Instead, they're like, here, how about Vanguard again? And it's like, okay, how old is Vanguard? That's like TNA bullshit. I'm not saying TNA is bullshit, but you know what I'm saying. It's old. Like you said, it's not new. They wanted to see something new, but AEW is like, oh, let's just recycle it. Let's just do the old stuff. And maybe they are planning something new. Maybe they're like, oh, why should we release it and do all the new crazy stuff in an empty arena? Let's save that for the shows with crowds. Let's save that for the pay-per-views. Let's save, all this stuff. But then it's like, why not just save Matt Hardy for that? Why not? You know what I mean? So I'm not going to defend them and say, oh, they're just saving it for a pay-per-view. I just think they're kind of like with everything else, Lance Archer and a couple other guys, they're just kind of fumbling here. They're just kind of dropping the ball. Like, they could do better, but.
And like you said, it might be just because like the situation of the world. It might just be that. So like that's why we're not like as Jean Paul and I always just give constructive criticism. We're not destroying anything. We're not saying it sucks. No, we're just saying, hey, could have been done a little better. That's all we're saying. So next week we get confirmation that Cody will face Shawn Spears in the first round for the TNT, not the TNA, like I said, championship tournament, and then in 2 weeks, Colt Cabana will face Lance Archer. We already know the winners for both of those matches. And then we also get Jake Hager, and then he'll be facing Jon Moxley in a no-holds-bar match for the AEW Championship. So legit stuff. And then we get to see, of course, and that I agree with Jean Paul, though. That I gotta agree with Jean Paul. And see, it's not guys that we agree on everything. You guys see that there's times that like we disagree, but like I would have been completely fine with not having the Young Bucks. But of course, they needed to have a promo by them. So we get to see Matt and Nick Jackson, and they're walking around their houses. And Matt has like pretty much, he's like they're like talking about like how life is so interesting, and they have to appreciate it because you only live once, and you gotta use it because of all the whole this situation in the world. Like they're being reflecting on it. So then the two of them do some training in the ring, and Nick says that he doesn't know when he might be able to return, but he is happy that he become a father again. He just got a baby and everything, so that's pretty much how like the real life into like the storyline. So I would have been fine without that promo.
Yeah, and I mean, to me, I don't know. Like, I just when I watch these guys in the ring, I'm like, okay, extremely legit, whatever. On promos, I don't know. Like, it just rubs me the wrong way. Like, it just everything they were saying was to me was just like so stupid. I'm like, really? When when Matt was saying to Nick, he's like, so you haven't stepped in the ring, right? Like you haven't you haven't been, hitting the ropes or anything. He's like, no, I haven't yet. I'm like, what? Do you not talk to your brother? Do you not, he just had his head smashed in with a garage door. Like, wouldn't that be a thing? Like, oh yeah, so I started, hitting the ropes today. Oh, okay, that's good. Like, what? Would you not talk to him? I'm like, what does he? When he's like, oh, and like Nick Jackson doesn't have a ring at his house. Like we saw him training in the shed, like I said, freaking Ninja Turtle style a week ago when Vanguard was watching him. So then this week, you're saying Nick Jackson doesn't have a ring at his house? That Matt Jackson had to build a ring for him somewhere for them to train in? That's what, like the whole promo, it just didn't make sense. Like you said, just every week they got to have the Young Bucks on there somewhere. I would have rather just, I don't know, had a longer commercial break, maybe,
Yeah,
had
yeah.
had a promo from somebody else, like
If you're
something.
not needed, I can see myself. If I'm, the wrestler, I will be like, if I'm not needed, give that chance to somebody else. Give.
Put this on Being the Elite, so I don't have to watch it.
Yeah, like you don't need to put those things on the show. At least that's for me. That. So now we're going to the main event. We're gonna go with like Shawn Spears and Sammy Guevara going against Darby Allin and Cody Rhodes. The match itself kind of dragged for me a little bit. I don't think it was a legit match, and like you said, it's like pretty much putting like two feuds that are currently happening for the TNT Championship and all of that. And then, oh yeah,
Yeah,
we don't know what to do. Let's put it in the main event. So let's
yeah,
go.
and that's the thing too. I really didn't care for this as well, and of course, Cody Rhodes, in the main event. Hey, I'm not saying anything, but but like I felt the same way how you said this match dragged for you. It dragged for me as well. Like it really did, and I didn't care. I was looking at the clock. It's like, oh man, it's like, it's 9:40. Felt like watching forever. It's 9:45. Felt like I'm watching forever. It's 9:47. It's like, really? Like, can it? It was sad to say, but I'm like, can it be 10 o'clock? Like,
Am
can
I
this
at
be
work
over?
or am I watching
Yeah,
Dynamite?
yeah. Like, and I felt like the reason I didn't care is because, like I said, like, what is Cody gonna lose to Shawn Spears in the first round of the tournament? No. Cody's gonna go to the finals to fight Lance Archer. It's like you already know what's gonna happen, so why do you even get excited? And that's a shame because that's why we were hoping AEW would be the alternative to that because that's pretty much what we get in WWE. But right now, AEW's kind of giving us the same thing.
It kind of is, unless they pull the Isaiah Swerve Scott. But like,
Yeah.
hopefully they do that. Hopefully, but like, if they go the route that you're mentioning as another WWE 2.0, at least hopefully again, if once this whole thing cleans up, once we all get our lives back, then maybe we'll see different storylines and everything. So let's go with like the last parts of the match because we have a little bit of post-match thing. So Darby gets the Spears back in the ring, and then Darby tosses him in front of the top rope, and then he hits him against the floor. Then Cody then climbs behind Guevara, and then he hits a reverse suplex. Spears hits a frog splash to Cody as he lands. Then Sammy grabs a chair and gives it to the chairman, and then Darby saves Cody, but Spears rolls Allen for the win. So everybody, like, they're all mad. Like, you can see, like, how Cody and Darby, they're all upset. There was a beautiful spot with a coffin drop, and then he dove on the outside. Like, that was a really legit stuff.
Yeah, he
But
was climbing up on like one of those poles, like how Trent got power bombed into. He was like climbing up on the thing, and he did the coffin drop. Like you said, there was some legit spots. Darby Allin is extremely talented. I really like him. Shawn Spears. I was a fan of his when he first came to AEW, and then I'm like, oh, he's literally just Ty Dillinger. They're not using him any different. So
he's the
whatever.
perfect L. Yeah, the
Yeah,
perfect
exactly.
loser. Yeah.
And Sammy Guevara is kind of the same way. He's the jobber, the loser of the inner circle. He's extremely talented. I still don't think you should be calling him the next Eddie Guerrero, which they stopped that real quick. They only did that for a few weeks and then done. I think
Well,
they got a lot of backlash from that.
the
But
Spanish loser also, like another
yeah,
SL. Yeah.
yeah. So he's in the same boat, and then it's like Cody, okay, the golden boy. He's the one who's gonna win. He ended up not winning. But then it's like, oh, we saw the beatdown then from Darby Allin, and I think Tony Schiavone was ready to get out of there because he's like, oh yeah, I think he said that Sammy Guevara took down Cody Rhodes, and it's like, really, dude, Sammy Guevara blonde with like half his face painted like a skull? No, I don't think that's Sammy Guevara.
That's what I mean. So that's what happened post-match. Cody tries to placate Darby after the match, but then Allen dags Cody and takes off his wrist strap before leaving, and that's where AEW Dynamite. So like there was like kind of like an interaction, and you can see that because that will probably the semifinal. That will be in the
Mm-hmm.
bracket, right? That will be like it will be Darby if he goes over Guevara, and then Cody.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
Imagine
what it was.
and then imagine if they do something where it's Darby Allin versus Lance Archer in the finals, and then maybe because like let's say Lance Archer beats the shit out of Dustin Rhodes, and then that starts the storyline, and then Cody screws Lance Archer and gets him, that he loses the match against Darby Allin. I could see him doing something like that.
But if they
There's
do that,
lots of
then
things.
actually make it interesting, because see, like what is predictable, like you said, Cody and Lance, and then Cody wins. That's predictable. Whatever you do outside of that, it's better. It's just better.
Oh, yeah.
So hopefully, and see, and you just the way you just do it, right? We're at a creative meeting. You already gave me the none to do, so it's easy to just go with like something different, and then we go with that. Hey,
Yeah.
like let's say like Cody comes out and he fogs Lance and
Well,
Colt
see,
Cabana
yeah,
then.
see, I wouldn't have even put Lance Archer in this thing. I would have had Cody be in this match against Shawn Spears, and I would have Lance Archer screw Cody over in this first match, and Shawn Spears moves on.
Thank you, and then and what does that do?
Because
In
then,
two
because
things.
then, like Shawn Spears, one, he's a heel. He wins in a cheap way, so he still gets more heel heat. People go, boo, screw you, Shawn Spears. It should be Cody. That's what you want. You want Shawn Spears to have that heel heat. It gives the same heel heat to Jake Snake and Lance Archer, and it continues the storyline with Cody. And Cody's also not being in the constant title spotlight. Because what's he
Yes.
gonna like? Let's say he doesn't win here. What he's gonna? Which I'm surprised they didn't do that. That they didn't do the Rhodes brothers. And we're gonna go against Hangman and Kenny for the belt because I own the company. That's what I was thinking we were gonna see. But instead, he's throwing himself right in the mid card title picture. So, like I said,
And
hopefully they do some of our ideas. Will they? No.
oh well, if they do that, at least it's different. So,
Mm-hmm.
guys, this wraps it up for like an AEW Dynamite review for April's Fool. I hope you guys are still, like I said, and keeping safe. We're not gonna make any jokes because I don't feel that
Yeah.
like food is
Yeah.
necessary for it. But please
And
though, do us a favor, check previews and predictions for WrestleMania. We had a whole 50 minutes just talking about all 16 matches. So thank you so much for the ones that have seen it. It's already in the channel, so please give it a look because we have a busy weekend. We will be covering all of that. So yeah, Jean Paul, you had something to say, so
yeah,
please.
I was just gonna say, and now let us know too in the comments if you guys felt the same way, where it was like this episode had a decent opening or a legit opening match, a decent-ish main event, but like let us know if you felt the same way that like they're really kind of dropping the ball, and do you feel that it's everything going on with the coronavirus, or do you think it's just it's just them dropping the ball? Because like I said, I don't think they would be booking Lance Archer and the Exalted One any different, whether there was a full arena or whether what's going on is going on. I don't think they'd be booking it any different. So I'm not going to blame the coronavirus on that. I think it's just they don't know how to book guys. Like you need to make them like a monster. So that's what I want. I just want to know, does the family feel the same way as we do, or are they like you guys? You need to take a break. Stop watching wrestling for a week, and then you'll be like, oh, this is legit. But we'll never stop.
But we'll never stop. That's the thing. We
Yeah,
will never stop. It doesn't matter what happens in the world. We will be here, even when we have to be like on stretchers, on our deathbed, everything. We will be doing this until the day that the light of a candle that is our life decides to like be shut off and turned off. That's the day that we will stop.
extinguished. You extinguished the
When the
candle.
light of our lives, when that flame is extinguished,
There
that's
it
when we
is.
stop. When we go, okay? So, thank you so very much for watching. And please, thank you so much again to everybody that subscribes. Thank you to the like nang 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 like
Yep.
now, then, and forever. Thank you again. Please hit the bell for all the notifications. We love to like the interactions. Want to say hi to Tom. A lot of them, like the names are like Benjamin. Everybody that's been Tim. A lot of people that has been interacting with us in all the social media. Thank you for all the love that we get and we get every single time. And we will be back in like a few hours for NXT. So we'll never stop. We're
Yep.
crazy for it. We're crazy. So, Jean Paul, anything else?
Nope. I think there's only one thing left to say.
Ah,